everybody. If you're watching this, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Hey y'all, happy Friday. Okay, so I was on the train coming back from work, and rarely do I ever get like real reception, but I had to take a different train to get home. And so I happened to be scrolling down TikTok. Let me tell y'all something. And something I saw just got me all riled up. Okay, first of all, let me go ahead and say, Donald Trump, JD Vance, y'all are out of order. Okay, this Trump and Zelenskyy from Ukraine, it was literally infuriating me, okay? And I have lots of problems with war and with people and that kind of thing, but oh no, this got to be addressed. I don't know who in the hell Donald Trump and JD Vance thought they were talking to, but if I was Zelenskyy, there would have been some furniture moving, okay? Okay. So Vance, all up in his shoulders and that, that white man arrogance. Vance says that, was telling him you're ungrateful. It's disrespectful for you to come here and try to litigate this in the American public. Sir, no, JD, whatever your name is, JD, let me tell you this. First of all, y'all are the ones who chose to sit down and have these negotiations in the diplomatic reception room. Okay, I don't know if y'all know this, but the president always meets with foreign officials and greets them in the diplomatic reception room where cameras and the press are. People greet one another. They'll briefly say what they plan to discuss or have their translator say it and come back after they go behind closed doors and have like the formal meeting, negotiation, or argument, whatever they need to do. And then come back out to the reception room and give the PR version to the public. Okay? The way that was conducted, and I know we're like, oh, we're not surprised. I know we're not, but we got to call it out because I don't want this stuff to get normal. Okay? There have been disagreements, certainly in the diplomatic reception room. But it has always been done where it's leveled. It may be incredibly tense. There may be a lot of back and forth, okay? Because you're dealing with leaders of the nation, both of whom are used to being in charge and have a point to get across. But that is not supposed to happen, not so publicly, ever. And quite frankly, it is not reassuring to the public because what it looks like is everything's out of control. All right? And then after they have tense agreements, like that's what they would typically do, they come back out like the PR version, they give it like sort of, they clean it up and they put it in, like legal jargon to try to say what they're going to do. And then, the person goes off and then people carry on. All right. Like your president will start talking about where they stand once company leaves. Okay. Anyway, Donald Trump was talking to him like he was 5. And that's what really pissed me off, that condescending, narcissistic shit where you are expecting the other person you're talking to have enough couth to where they're not going to respond that way in public, not to me. So I'll show my ass and that'll make me look like I'm the center of attention. And they want you to go off so they can say, see, this is why we don't want it. Trump's one of them. Okay, in addition to many other, I'm sure, undiagnosed psychological disorders. I ain't no doctor, but I got a funny feeling. All right. Anyway, so talking to him like he's a 5-year-old, saying you don't hold the cards. You need us. This is all in front of the press. All of it. Vance jumps in and says, in October, you came to Pennsylvania. And I was like, what the hell I got to do with anything? To support the opposition. I said, oh, shoot. We getting petty like that in front of everybody. It don't matter now. It doesn't. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he have come over from Ukraine to support Harris when she was Joe Biden's vice president? Biden's the one that decided to give y'all aid. First of all, Zelenskyy held his own. I got to give it to him. And he did admit, he answered, he responded to their stuff. He was like, you're right, we don't hold the cards. And that is why we need help. Trump is saying by not accepting a ceasefire, you all are starting World War III. Y'all are trying to start World War III. They're all talking to him like this. Mind you, this is public. This is how I'm watching it and seeing it. So I said, first of all, this is how you know how stupid these people are. They're ignorant. They're uneducated. They lack a proper briefing because they have the wrong people briefing them. How the hell is Ukraine starting a war when Russia invaded them? Are you for real right now? Putin has gone in and then gone back on the terms of a ceasefire before. So saying ceasefire to people who are in control, it's like the Israel Palestinian ceasefire. Israel has, let me tell you something. They have gone over those disagreements. It's whoever has the most weaponry and feels like they can bully other people across the world. Okay, so then JD, because that's all he deserves. JD is like, you're putting conscripts at the front of the line because you lack the manpower. I'm like, why are y'all trying to humiliate and degrade this man? Why? Just don't give him the money. But why carry on like this? I'm going to tell you why. I'm getting to it. So, they were piling on him. And I told y'all, I told you once, I told you a million times. If there's anything I cannot stand in real life, in reality TV life, is to watch one person get beat up on like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's mean. I think it's cruel. And it's always calculated and intentional and purposeful. Okay? So in this process, I'm like, both of y'all are stupid. But the two things that both of y'all are is evil and cruel. Both of you. Conscripts, okay? Conscription means when somebody is drafted for war, okay? So him saying you're putting conscripts at the front of the line because you lack manpower. Yeah. Usually when you lack manpower, you draft people. I think it's unfortunate, yes, because going to war is always unfortunate. Because those people pay the most. The regular civilians pay the biggest price. Okay, Zelenskyy can still travel. You see what I mean? Anyway, the U.S. has no moral ground to stand on when it comes in terms of morality, whether people should or should not be drafted and put up to the front lines. Are you kidding me? All the people that they have drafted and used and let lie dead, all the numbers of people that died that we don't even know to mourn except for their families. The U.S. is not in a position to say, do, or if they think it, better not say it out loud. Zelenskyy goes, yes, that is true. He didn't deny it. He said, that's why we need help. So he's still here advocating for his country to get help. And they know it. And then to exploit it in this way is so unproductive. And honestly, that conversation where you have Trump and Vance against Zelenskyy was just as bad as it looked. It's going to have the same terrible results as it looked. We are now just seeing how it is going to unravel before our eyes. Okay, so Zelenskyy obviously wants help to keep Russia from taking over Ukraine. We get it. Okay, Trump has done backdoor business deals with Putin. Everybody keeps saying allegedly. They've had classified documents and it's stuff that's been revealed. Okay. He don't care about them Ukrainians. And yes, when people usually provide aid, there is something that they want. And that's what Trump is saying. We want access to your minerals. We want resources. Now, granted, anytime you are doing something diplomatic, people typically do want something for it. Like they're helping Israel because those people are already brown. We already know they don't care about those. And our country is full of warmongers. But also because they see that as territory they can build on. It's never enough, is it? It's never enough. And you can tell how evil and cruel they are. You can tell by how weird and scared Vance's wife always looks. Anyway, so either way, we're talking about Trump and Vance talking to another grown adult, a leader of the country, like he was nothing, like he was a child that needed to be corrected in front of everybody. Okay? That is indefensible. It's inexcusable. And at worst, if it did happen, it should have never happened in front of the cameras. Ever. That was on purpose to humiliate him and to embarrass him. Vance said you shouldn't be litigating this to the public and using our American media to do it. That's all y'all do use. Trump was like, I think it's good that he's doing it because the American public deserves to know. And this will make great TV. That's what he said. Because that's all he sees in this. Okay? And you can tell Trump and Vance ain't on the same page because Elon Musk is Trump and Elon Musk and the hell with everybody else. Because you wouldn't have been using those talking points. And then Trump goes, no, this makes great TV. Y'all would have at least been on the same page. He don't have J.D. Vance in a lot of them conversations. I think America, first of all, needs to mind its business. No, I did not support Joe Biden sending billions of dollars of aid over there to Ukraine because I felt like we had enough problems, especially after COVID. You can still see we have enough problems. Our prices went up. We have a housing crisis. We have unregulated millionaires and billionaires. And I did not support, and I still do not support my tax dollars and billions more dollars going to keep Israel all weaponed up so they can continue their genocide against the Palestinians. Absolutely not. But I don't support that from under Biden. Just like I didn't support it under Trump, just like I didn't support it under Obama, just like I didn't support it under Bush, Clinton. All them people have aided Israel in this fuck shit. This has been going on since 48. So I'm not here to say let me hurry up and defend Joe Biden. But I'm making a point about the way this looks. And the bottom line is it looks terrible and it was wrong. And don't think I forgot, okay, Zelenskyy, how Ukraine kept those African students, African immigrants from fleeing Ukraine when y'all first got attacked by Russia, trying to make sure y'all's people could flee. What were y'all going to keep the Africans there for? They were experiencing all this red tape. They couldn't get to safety. That's not even that because they're over there trying to get an education. No, because y'all was going to draft them and use them if y'all could. While I have a problem with that, I know good and goddamn well that ain't the reason why Trump got a problem with it. See, this is what I mean. And this is how wicked politics is. Everybody is performing. Everybody, they play the liberal, warm, lukewarm, don't really say anything. The Constitution will defend itself. As if the Constitution is a talking document. No, motherfucker, you got to fight. And it just puts the American people in this stronghold. Anyway, so that was my problem with it. I had to get that off my chest because that shit was making me mad. All right, so then we have this other story. I want to send condolences to his family, Caleb Wilson of Southern University. He was a 20-year-old college student, and he was taking part in a fraternity ritual off campus when he collapsed and later died. He was pledging Omega Psi Phi. I know I've given my opinion on sororities and fraternities. And no, I don't think that people are going to hell and it's displeasing to God. Because some of y'all carry out the same behavior whether you're in those fraternities or sororities or not. So no, I don't think it's witchcraft and all that other stuff. I actually have real legitimate reasons. I think it promotes classism and elitism in the black community. And I think that's not what we need. And I have real ethical issues with it. Now, but I do want to be clear here that prayers up for his family, condolences to his family, because I can't imagine too many things worse than this. So I don't care, black and white, Asian, Chicano, it doesn't matter. State schools and universities, HBCUs, PWIs, northern colleges, southern colleges, western colleges, big and small endowments alike run into these problems with sororities and fraternities, okay? These policies that are on these websites about no hazing is bullshit, okay? They have to say that for legal purposes. And I remember even just being at Spelman and when people were pre-pledging, all those desperate to be sorors, and I'm like, wow, y'all haven't even been chosen yet. And y'all letting people treat y'all like that. Yeah, I thought they were crazy for letting it happen. Granted, I'm not a sorority girl. Y'all can tell by just my personality, just a little too independent. But even if they were crazy for letting it happen or felt pressured into letting it happen because they want to please their mom, their aunties, because for a lot of people it is tradition. What's also crazy that we always have to acknowledge with these things are the people that do it in the first place. Because to even think to do some of these things to people is really sick. I don't even want to get into a lot of those stories. But anyway, regardless, I think there needs to be some very, very, very tight oversight. They have clearly moved Omega Psi Phi indefinitely. They've suspended their presence on campus until this gets resolved. But they do this a lot. You remember the boy that died pledging the fraternity at FAMU for the band? And a lot of them, I think, got charges and stuff. But regardless, I think there needs to be very, very tight oversight that answers to local, state, and finally the national organization. This can't be the professor who pledged and never grew up and is so caught up in it still that he's just always around, but he's like friends with the students. That kind of person don't need to be in charge. And it can't be the administrator who's involved in Jack and Jill so deeply and knows some people's parents and lets other ones on, treats people different, allows certain kind of treatment to be done. Because trust me, everybody does not get treated the same online. Okay, they don't. They don't. And it can't be, this person that's, so upstanding, like in the Jack and Jill. They were like, oh no, they'll tell us when things are out of hand, this, that, and the other. And it damn sure can't be no other early 20-somethings who are the undergrad dean of pledges being the main oversight. Okay? This is tragic. It's tragic. It's tragic. And it's especially tragic because there's no coming back from death. Okay? We don't know. And once again, these things are still unfolding. So I'm just giving my opinion, but these things are still unfolding. We don't know if he had underlying health issues. But I know that these kind of rituals can exacerbate those. And that should have been taken into account. Quite frankly, I'm also bothered by this Gen Z and this alpha generation, full of all these fragile and sensitive kids, now young adults. When anybody criticizes or offers them feedback, they're crying and complaining and requesting and these generations are not mature enough to do this in college. Now, granted, this kind of stuff has been happening in college for a long time. So we can say 20-year-olds been, not qualified to do this. But some people will never be qualified to do it in terms of any ounce of immaturity. Because as a result of this gentle parenting generation, you have a bunch of kids whose parents did that bullshit gentle parenting, and all of their feelings and lies, were always validated by their parents. So their bad behavior was blamed on the teachers or the school or the people at the Boys and Girls Club. Their parents getting an attitude with the old lady at church who tells them to stop popping gum in the middle of service. Then they excuse their behavior without correcting it. So you've made these sneaky, conniving, mean kids who know you're going to always be around to make excuses for their poor behavior, who don't develop sympathy and empathy for other people because they don't have to. They know you're going to come to their defense regardless. And they get off on hurting other people. So these kids, 20 is 15 at this point. But keep the family in your prayers. I don't think there's much that can happen to devastate you more than the loss of a child. Especially when they were in college. They were obviously involved. They were in Southern's marching band, which is not for the weak. And who clearly had been accepted into Omega Psi Phi. So we know his grades had to be decent and things like that. And his parents get a call that their son is now dead. And we have to pray for them. And we also have to teach and treat each other better than this. Because this has got to stop. I'm not one of them people that go, oh yeah, that's going to always happen, so don't do nothing. I'm not into that. I'm not. Because that's the case. You might as well go ahead and die now. This stuff has been going on for as long as these things have existed. But there's a cult of silence around these things, around the dedication to these organizations, that is a problem. It really is. And then these things blow up like this. So I'm sorry. I pray for his family, that they'll get justice and healing, and that, his friends, on campus, people who were pledging with him may have felt faint. You know what I mean? All the things that could have happened. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on that. LaTocha Scott, Xscape, You sang your ass off. I got to give it to you. And I do think you had the best voice in Xscape. Your sister has the second best voice. Candy, we know, still can't sing. That song that you sung, and then your sister called in to Ricky Smiley's morning show and still had your back, girl. She was still defending you, but said, she hasn't talked to you. You walked out the club. You and your mama or something when when they saw her, which is cruel and mean. They're mean to her. They are really mean to the sister. And she's still with Rocky. So basically she knows all this, but she gonna still be in the... LaTocha, I really do understand what it is to work really hard, have incredible talent, and then feel like you're overlooked. But you also did a lot of dirty stuff. You were not kicked out of that group. You left it. You lied about your gospel thing, and then they still let you back in, and then you left. We saw it play out on reality TV anyway, but I ain't got time. Okay, so that's all I have to say. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.